Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Some North Fargo customers are still without power after an Xcel power outage hit at around 2:30 this afternoon. Initially, about 7,000 customers were impacted in areas west of University Drive and between Main Avenue and 12th Avenue North. It's the 7th power outage we've seen in recent weeks. We received several reports from people who lost power, wondering what was going on. One woman near Broadway and 12th Avenue North says she heard multiple loud booms. But some North Dakota residents could soon get some answers. Xcel is being called to Bismarck in about 2 weeks for what's being called an informal hearing into the reliability issue. This isn't the first time Xcel has been called on the carpet to answer questions about the power going out. The Public Service Commission held hearings on the same issue about 2 years ago. No worries for the Garth Brooks concert tonight, though. The Fargo Dome has a generator. And the general manager adds concerts use less power than an NDSU Bison football game. And if you're heading out to the Garth Brooks concert, you might want to plan ahead to make sure you find a parking spot. All 4 of Garth's concerts saw record ticket sales, which means thousands of people will be descending on the Fargo Dome for the next 4 days. Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker spent some time talking to people in the neighborhood closest to the Fargo Dome. He's there now with reaction to what's going on to a massive event. Cornelius?
Massive event indeed, Andrea. And a quick side note, the power outage actually impacted the Fargo Dome. They were sending out mobile tickets, and so they sent out a second email, and they want everyone to know to be sure to use the second email that they sent out. Now, the Fargo Dome parking lot opened up just about an hour ago, and as you can see behind me, or I think you can see, I can see, cars are filing in, and with events like this, several people near the Fargo Dome tell me that, you know, they don't really mind helping folks out because they know parking is tough.
I call that my corral, and if they do it right, they can get 3 cars there. Otherwise, I've had them parked in here where there's 3 cars, so there's 6 cars on the grass.
So parking spots right across the street from the Fargo Dome might look enticing, but college students who live at the area tell me if you park there without a permit, you're more than likely going to get a ticket.
There's so little parking space that they want to make sure everybody gets a chance to park and be able to get to the Fargo Dome with, you know, as much convenience as possible.
So the moral of the story is if you're going to be going to an event where thousands of people are, do everyone a favor and get here early. Andrea, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Cornelius. Many bars in the Valley are offering shuttle services to and from the Garth Brooks concert on Friday and Saturday. But if you plan on utilizing those services, they recommend making reservations as soon as possible. Today, Garth Brooks and his wife, Trisha Yearwood, took some time out of their afternoon to talk with the local media. Valley News Team's Lisa Bedeau and Mike Morgan were there. They described the superstar couple as very personable and down to earth. The discussion touched on just about everything in both Brooks' personal and professional life. Garth Brooks has played the Fargo Dome twice before, and he says there's a science to picking what cities he'll play in, adding he's counting on the crowd to make it a good show.
Every time a city comes up, you know it's going to be a place where you had a great time last time. So the pressure is off of us. It's on you. We come here knowing what you can do. And we're going to be very disappointed if you don't do that.
Brooks says ticket sales set the attitude for each city, and they were pleasantly surprised with Fargo because the Fargo Dome is such a big venue. During a news conference today, that same one, Trisha Yearwood commented on how great the weather is. Sunshine, warm temps. Let's toss it over to Hutch Johnson to find out how what the high is for today. Hutch?
Well, the heat is on this Cinco de Mayo. It is 90 degrees after a high temperature of 91 in Fargo, 93 in Hallock. So everybody enjoying the heat of the day. Some mid-80s in Detroit Lakes. Now combine that with dry air and some pretty gusty winds over 15 miles per hour at times, and that fire danger is quite high heading into our evening. All the red counties you see there under a red flag warning. That means don't burn if you don't have to. Fire could quickly get out of control. A line of showers and thunder showers to our northwest will change our weather as we go through the next 24 hours, but not this evening. Clear skies throughout, 80s all the way until we get into the 8 o'clock hour. Then some more comfortable 70s out there for us in the Fargo area. A lot of 80s as well in Grand Forks for the next 3 hours or so before we cool off there. And in Lakes Country, we'll be in the 70s by the time we hit the 8 o'clock hour. Your hour-by-hour forecast is coming up in a minute. The heat will be swept out of here in a pretty big way as we go through the next day or day and a half. I'll have the timing for you in a few moments.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Hutch. And let's reiterate what Hutch said. Officials say much of the area is in a dangerous weather pattern for fires because of the dry conditions and the heat and the high winds. So the state of Minnesota has issued a burning ban for Clay County. Sheriff Bill Berquist says they were notified by the state this morning that no burning permits will be valid until Saturday. Anyone caught burning during the ban can be fined. Our heroin epidemic is the topic of discussion at a public forum in West Fargo tonight and Grand Forks next week. Experts say a big part of the opioid and heroin addiction problem is sitting right in our homes. Many of our medicine cabinets have unused painkillers that contain the same chemicals found in heroin. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson takes us to Medication Drop-Off Day in Grand Forks and shows us what we all need to know.
It's Medication Drop-Off Day in Altru Hospital's parking lot. Doctors say many heroin addictions begin with an addiction to painkillers and the opioids they contain. Proper disposal of unused narcotics keeps you and kids safe in several different ways.
In addition to all the drug use is kids accidentally getting into medications, and so store your medications appropriately, and when you're no longer needing them and when they're expired, bring them here.
During some of these Medication Drop-Off Day events in Grand Forks, they've collected more than 200 pounds of narcotics at a single event. Law enforcement will tell you that keeping it in your home makes you a target for crime.
You know, we have a lot of break-ins that take place in this community and other communities, and a lot of the break-ins are looking for prescription drugs that people store in their house.
Doctors say the medical community has taken notice and they're being more careful about prescribing painkillers.
I think we are. I think physicians in general are paying attention to whether people need the medication, how much we're giving, how long of a time, being really clear on the directions.
And Dr. Swank says properly disposing of our unused drugs is a simple way for everyone to help cure the problem. In Grand Forks, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
A public opioid drug forum will be held from 6:30 to 8 tonight at the West Fargo High School Theater. Another one will be held next Tuesday evening from 6:30 to 8 at the Empire Theater in downtown Grand Forks. The Food and Drug Administration has announced its plan to regulate e-cigarettes and other tobacco products. Under the plan, anyone under age 18 would be banned from buying e-cigarettes. While cigarette smoking is down among youth, the percentage of high school students using e-cigarettes has skyrocketed in recent years. Public health experts say hookah water pipes and cigars are also popular with kids under 18.
Together, that means millions of kids are being introduced to nicotine every year. A new generation hooked on a highly addictive chemical.
The ban on sales to minors will take effect in 90 days. The FDA plan does not address flavors in e-cigarettes, which many critics say entice kids. And coming up on Valley News Live at 6, Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop looks into how the new rules will impact you and local vape shops. We're all a little bit guilty of spending too much time on our phones and the internet these days, but did you know what we consider a social norm is actually impacting our children and changing how they're learning to communicate?
They have to be on the cell phone all the time, and when parents try to set limits, they become very angry.
Is your cell phone sending you or your child down the road of addiction? Tonight on Valley News Live, 10 at 10, reporter Ashley Bishop finds out if you're spending too much time on your cell phone and internet. Also, she looks into how the digital world is causing worldwide concern and change. Some good news for those of you enduring the 13th Avenue reconstruction project. The work is running ahead of schedule. The bad news, there's still a long way to go. That's part of the message businesses along this busy stretch of roadway are getting today. Fargo City officials and the people working on the project are hosting meetings every other week to keep all involved posted on how the project is going. Driving through there, it's slow going during peak travel times with head-to-head traffic, one lane in each direction. The speed limit is down to 25 miles an hour through the work zone. And Fargo's traffic engineer, Jeremy Gordon, says the driving lanes are tight.
People coming to town for the Garth Brooks concerts, just be patient out here on 13th Avenue. There's quite a few hotels. Access from I-29 really isn't impacted. Even from 94 up 45th Street. You can get around out here, you just got to be patient.
This is one of the state's busiest streets, carrying some 30,000 cars a day. The project is not expected to be completed until October.